Welcome to the Meals on Wheels Route Manager tutorial. I'll be walking you through some common workflows in order to do things like generate turn-by-turn directions, create new stops on an existing route, and creating a new route altogether. Along the way, you'll learn about what each of the widgets do in this application. For our first workflow, we're going to showcase how to generate turn-by-turn directions from an existing route. First thing you'll do is use the Route Selector widget to select a route. You'll see that the map zooms in and selects all of the stops along that route. If you scroll down, you'll see the Stop Selections widget here, which has selected those specific stops. And what you'll need to do next is use this 4 dots or Actions menu and click the Plan Routes button. This sends all the selected stops over to the Directions widget. You can see that the first and last stop are both the Western Chatham Senior Center. So when we click the Optimize Order button, we'll want to keep the Preserve First and Last Stop buttons toggled. Now that we've generated an optimized route, if we want to view those turn-by-turn directions, you can click this arrow, and if you use this 3 dots menu, you can see those turn-by-turn directions on a printable version of the screen. Next, I'll be showcasing how to find which route a new stop should be added to, and how to use the editing widget in order to create that new stop interactively. The first thing we'll need to do for this workflow is identify where the new stop is located. For that, we'll use the Address Search widget. You can begin entering your address, and you'll notice options populate below. I would recommend using the options from the address point search first, but if nothing populates there, then you can use the alternatives. This source is directly tied to our GIS data and will give you the best results. So I'll go ahead and select this first record. You'll see that a temporary blue point is added to the map, and you should avoid exiting out because that will get rid of that temporary point. But I'll go ahead and zoom out some. And then I'll begin clicking on the route selector routes in order to get an idea of how this new stop compares to those in the existing routes. Based on those 4 Pittsboro routes, it looks like Pittsboro Route 2 is going to be our best option. So what we'll do now is move over to our Create and Edit Stops widget. We'll hit the back button here so that we don't, so that we can get to the Create New Features option. And then we use this Create Features button here. And what we'll do is we'll zoom back into that location and try to drop this point into that little blue point as best you can. Once you do so, it will populate the options that you enter for this stop. So we'll call this Test Stop as the name. The route ID, we determined that it'll be best fit in Pittsboro Route 2. And it's really important that this formatting is exactly the same as it is in the route selector. For type, this is a drop-down, and this is a stop. It is neither a pickup or drop-off location. Schedule is used to include information about how often this person is on that given route. So we'll do a daily person example here. And then the address you will manually enter, 12 East Street. However, know that the location and address is determined by the location you dropped the point, but this is valuable reference information. And the last thing you'll need to do is enter the list order. Now, the important thing with the list order is that you should never use 1 or 100, but any number between 2 and 99 are completely fine. So in this case, we will use, let's say, 12. And then what you'll do is you go down and hit Create. Now that we have created that new test stop, we can refresh the page with this convenient little refresh page button. We'll give that a moment. And now, when we click Pittsburgh Route 2 and zoom in a little bit, we can see that our test stop has been added to the route. When we scroll down and go to the stop selection, we can use the plan route button, and we should see that 12 East Street is included, and it is. It's just showing as the Chatham County Tax Office over here. I'll now show you how to delete an existing stop. So we just created that test stop, and I'll show you the best way to find that and delete it using the editor widget. So we'll select our route, Pittsburgh Route 2. You can zoom in a little bit if you need to. And then you'll scroll down here on the right, or you can use this little up arrow to collapse the directions widget. And if you scroll down, you should find test stop. You'll click on that test stop. And here at the bottom, there's a delete button. And you'll have to click it twice to make sure that you really want to remove it. Be very careful when you're deleting. And with that, we should be able to refresh, and our Pittsburgh Route 2 will be back to normal. All right, the last workflow I'm going to showcase is how to create a whole new route. Now, this is very similar to how you create a new stop, with one important distinction. The route selector options are based on the pickup or drop-off locations. Therefore, when you create a new route, you'll need to make sure that you choose the pickup location for that route. So let's say we're going to start a new Pittsburgh route. So first, we will drop a point on our Pittsburgh Center for Active Living. I'm going to zoom in real close just so I can get this pretty tight. We will call it the same thing, Pittsburgh Center for Active Living. The route ID will be completely new, but we'll go with Pittsburgh Route 5, keeping that same naming convention so that next time we can add new stops. Now here under type, we'll add pickup. Schedule for this is always going to be daily. The full address, you can include it if you want, but this is a known location. And ensure that list order is number 1. Now, when we create and refresh the page, we should see Pittsburgh Route 5 available. You can see that Pittsburgh Route 5 is populated here at the bottom of the list. And if we click on it, it will be filtered to just that starting location. So what we'll need to do next is add the end location or the drop-off location, which will be the exact same. But remember, we need to create a point for it as well, so that our route will include the start and end position. So we'll zoom in nice and close, drop this on the same point, still call it the Pittsburgh Center for Active Living. The route ID will be Pittsburgh Route 5, and the type will be drop off. Schedule will be daily, and for list order, ensure you put 100 for the drop-off locations. Because as I said earlier, when we add stop locations, as long as you use a number between 2 and 99, we'll ensure that the start location and end location are both your Center for Active Living locations. And with that, we'll hit create. We'll refresh the page. And now Pittsboro Route 5 will have 2 locations. You can see that if you scroll down to the stop selection. Now, when we go to add our stops on this new route, we just have to label them as a stop and make sure the list order is between 2 and 99. The last few things I wanted to mention before I wrap this tutorial up are what some of these widgets do in the map. So we've already tested out the search widget. The home widget essentially just returns to the home view. The layer widget here includes the option to toggle on certain reference layers that are here in the land reference dataset. So something like parcels or subdivisions, that kind of thing. And there's also the map printer widget. So I showcased earlier how you can print turn-by-turn directions from the directions widget. And the map printer just allows you to create a little map that will showcase what's on your screen here. So you can choose what size, like what template to use. Typically 8.5 by 11. You can use the show print area to kind of see what will be covered by that area. And then when you click print, your print job will populate here. And when this finishes loading, it will provide a link to a PDF document that can be saved or printed as needed. It can take a few minutes, and there we go. And here's our little route map.